It is Wednesday, the 20th of March. Hello, kia ora, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us as we take a look at the weather forecast on this autumn equinox, which is at precisely 4:06 this afternoon. Now, the equinox means basically that the Earth isn't tilting towards or away from the sun, and so the sunlight lines up perfectly with the equator, and daylight and nighttime are basically equal length right across the planet at the moment. Now, this map really does show it quite clearly. This is the lunchtime or 1 p.m. snapshot of UV rays. On top of it, you've got the wind and airflows. But you can see this circular shape. So that is basically perfectly lined up with the equator. You can see it's split evenly in half. Obviously, it's not a perfect circle because we've got cloud down here, which breaks up some of that purple. Extreme UV rays up here. Now, it's worth pointing out, even though we're way down here, we still have very high UV rays in the northern part of the country, so the top half of the North Island, which means you can still get sun burnt and get skin damage in a fairly short amount of time, 10 minutes or so. So don't forget, you still need to use your suntan lotion and the hats and sunglasses, even if the temperatures aren't overly flash, because we are in autumn properly now. We are sliding in towards winter, the Northern Hemisphere now sliding towards summer. Our nights will start to get longer and longer, and that means the mornings when you wake up, like this morning, was kind of cool right across the country. So let's have a look at the next 48 hours from this evening, and you can see what we've got coming in. A cold front that then turns into a low pressure zone. Not a very big one, but if you live in Nelson and Marlborough, this is exactly what you want to see. Now, I've got to give you the serious news straight away. There is not a lot of rain coming if you're in Marlborough. So we're lowballing it. We're saying, take a look at ruralweather.co.nz, but at this stage, it looks like 5 millimeters or so around parts of Marlborough. It might go up a little higher than that. It all depends on the speed and movement of this front as it starts to move through Friday night and then into Saturday morning. We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's take a look at the precipitation now from tonight through until Friday evening. And you can see that low coming in, driving in some heavier rain out there towards sort of the Farewell Spit area, maybe 30 or 40 millimeters falling there. So it doesn't really show Marlborough because that rainfall comes in after 7 o'clock on Friday evening or around about that time. So look, it's not a lot, it's a little bit. And if you live in Nelson, again, you're only talking about 5 to 10 millimeters, but still, conditions are very dry. I'm sure any rain will be welcome. Let's have a look at what is coming in. So Thursday, we've still got the high pressure zone somewhat here. It's south of the Chatham Islands, but it stretches up a little bit into the North Island. That's why the weather's pretty good at the moment. You can see though, the nor'west winds start to develop on Thursday, a couple of showers here on the western side. Friday, 1 p.m. So that wet weather moving in towards Marlborough. On this map, it shows it just developing into the afternoon. On the other map, the rainfall one, it showed you sort of coming in more towards evening. Either way, you get the idea. It's in towards Friday p.m. Not much of a low, not a lot of rain, and most of that wet weather is lining up over here on the western side or the northwestern corner of the South Island. Later on into Friday, that front moves into the North Island. It might only just be a few showers, so don't get your hopes up. This is not much of a rainmaker at all. And by Saturday lunchtime, it has gone away from the South Island. So that rainfall, very limited overnight. Hopefully you'll get 5 millimeters on the lower end, maybe 10 to 15 on the higher end. As it moves across the North Island, it breaks apart, a few showers. Now we begin the classic autumn sou'westers. So on Sunday, those sou'westers turn more northwest, westerly quarter winds basically coming through. Storms in the Southern Ocean, high pressure up here, moving along to the north of New Zealand. And this is the classic autumn setup and a bit El Nino as well. So we're going to see those windy conditions returning. Mostly dry on Sunday, a couple of showers in the west. By the time we get into Monday, showery and rainy across the western side. It might either be broken up into showers or it's sort of a patchy area of rain. What is the difference? Showers are individual, and they last less than 30 minutes, usually just sort of one small cloud producing that shower, whereas rain is usually sort of one area of cloud that covers quite a large area, and it also falls for longer than 30 minutes usually. There are different ways of measuring it, but that's usually what it is. Showers are more isolated. So Monday, you've got this wet weather on the west coast, mainly dry up here in the North Island, windier weather right across New Zealand, and of course Tasmania, Bass Strait, coastal parts of Victoria, places like Phillip Island. What a great name for an island. Very windy in those areas. And we get to Tuesday, no change. The storm down here, 950 hectopascals. That's a doozy of a storm. And then you've got the big windy weather across the country with high pressure up here, sort of putting a lid on it. So those winds want to roar right up, but they get stopped. And high pressure therefore makes it what we call a squash zone. It makes those winds stronger. So we've got a blustery Sunday, Monday, Tuesday developing around New Zealand, and then it ends here with this cold blast just nicks Hobart, but it comes in properly to Invercargill, Dunedin, Queenstown, and all of the smaller centres in between those places as we go through in towards Tuesday night. So this is classic autumn weather for this time of the year. That is all from me. See you again tomorrow, Thursday, with our next update and also our Australia-only forecast, taking a look at the next 7 days across the continent there. We'll see you tomorrow.